Hi guys, so this is my analysis on Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. If you watched my previous analysis on Bitcoin, I said I'm expecting Bitcoin to get to my 2,588 5-ish, but let's just say 2, which is my negative 27% fib level. And my reasons was because of if you zoom, let me zoom in a little bit, we can see there was an impulse here, a correction, and a continuation. And if you know, my target is already my negative 27% fib level, and as you can see, we got to around that level, which was my previous analysis on this right here, and we can see right there. So I'm going to delete that since we've gotten to my first target around that level, which is great. And we can see this target was my minor structure, which is my negative 61.8 fib level, and we know we got there because this was my major structure right here, my major target right at this level right here, and this was my minor target, and my minor target started from here. So an impulse, a correction, and a continuation to this level. This was my minor target. While my major target, let me change the color. My major target was from here, an impulse, a correction, and a continuation. So that was my major target, which was around my negative 27%, while my minor was around my negative 61%. Since we are done with the major direction, let me delete this fib and let's see what next. So if you, like I said, if you've been watching my video, I used to say that majority of the time whenever we get to my negative 27%, there's always a revert. Not always, so let me use that word because it doesn't happen all the time. Most of the time there is a reversal around my negative 27, which gives me like a complete reversal direction, either an impulse, a correction for a bullish trend, right, if I'm on a downtrend, or an impulse, a correction for a bearish move if you're on an uptrend. But we can see right there we are on a downtrend, so around that level I get like a complete reversal pattern. So what do I mean right here? Majority of the time around this zone right here, I get an impulse, a correction around something like this, and a continuation. This is a full direction. So what am I now seeing? I'm seeing that we might buy a little bit because we rejected of my negative 27% fib level. So I'm going to use my fib around that level. We can see and first and second around this level right here. So let's see. So what am I seeing right now? I'm seeing a bit of like I said, this will be my targets for the overall direction. My first target will be around my negative 27%, like always. Like you guys know, that's my majority of my target, my first target, and my second target will be my negative 61.8, and that always majority of the time align with a certain structure, and that is why I think we might also get to that level, and I will explain that later on. So what am I seeing right here? There's a possibility that we might push down a little bit more. There was a long week rejection around this area, so we might push down to my deep rejections, and you know my deep rejections are my 78.6% fib level and also my 88.6% fib level before we now continue to push to my first target and my second target. So I see a possibility that we might get around that level to reject up, but we have to see what happens. So as long as we don't break the structure right here, we can still see a possible move to the upside. But like I used to say, no strategy is 100% and anything can happen. We just have to reanalyze based on the current price action. But in case if we break the structure right here and I see a retest, my second target is my negative 61.8 fib level, which is for the downtrend. But because of our analyze and our always analyze my chart based on my negative 27% level, is majority of the time I used to see a complete price action, and that is why I'm saying there's a possibility we might see a little bit of like a bullish move before we now see a continuation to my overall direction, which is still my negative 61.8% fib level. So I see it, let me just draw a little bit. So I see it might come down to around this level to retrace, then to my first target, which is around that level. And you can see my second target aligns perfectly well with an imbalance and a structure and a trend line. So my negative 61.8, which is 28,825, around that area, we can see it aligns perfectly well with a trend line touch and also a zone retest. So this is my negative 61.8, right? We can see if you move, and there's also an imbalance to be filled, right? If you move, if you look to the right side, there is an imbalance around this area that needs to be filled. One. The second is we can see there was a structure around this area and it broke that structure and it hasn't retested that structure yet. So I'm talking about this particular candle right here, broke the structure and it hasn't retested that structure yet, and that aligns with my negative 61.8. So I see a possible move that we might come to this zone right here to fill in all that before we now continue to the downside. And my third confluence around that area is, if I zoom in a little bit, we can see there's a first touch trend line, second touch trend line, and that also aligns perfectly well with my third touch trend line. So that is why I say there's a possibility we might get to around that level, but let's see how that acts before we continue. So I might just draw a scenario here and use a different color since we don't know how that rejected, because majority of the time I'm more comfortable around my negative 27% fib level. But like I said, sometimes my negative 61.8 level aligns perfectly well with market structure, which we all know that price action and market structure is the king. So that is just my overall analysis that I'm looking at currently around this level. And like I said, as long as anything can change, no one knows the market 100%. If I see a break of structure with a good engulfing candle to the downside here, then there's a possibility I'm moving to my next target, which is around that level. So that is just my overall thoughts on Bitcoin, and I hope this is insightful, guys. And if you enjoy my analysis, please don't forget to share, comment and like, and I'll see you in my next analysis. Thank you.